Do all you can to remain on track with your goals. I promise you'll get your victory. Not in the end, but within your reach. Keep listening to your inner voice and doing what it asks of you. And if need be, confide in someone you trust. We all learning in a vast world. Sometimes life can be so scary. It lets you down and makes people wanna laugh at you. But don't you ever give up. Roll your sleeves and get back to work. Stay focused and do all you can to remain on track with your goals. I promise you'll get your victory. Not in the end, but within your reach. Keep listening to your inner voice, doing what it asks of you. And if need be, confide in someone you trust.
Yo, thank you so much for joining. It's the Morning Talk Show with Team Abel on Enforces Radio 107.7. A show where we teach you how to build, market, and sell your business, even when there's no money in your pocket. Not just when there's no money in your pocket, even when you've got money in your pocket, we still help you build a business that is sustainable. That's the goal. And every week we come here to break it down in practical ways, how you can actually turn your ideas right into making income for yourself, or better still, improve your income generation based on what you have started doing. And it's still the Morning Talk Show with Tim Abel on Armed Forces Radio 107.7. And here we come every Wednesdays. Don't forget, from 3:05 through to 4 p.m. And today we've got another blockbuster for you.
Sometimes life can be so scary. It lets you down and makes people to wanna laugh at you.
It's exactly 8 minutes past the hour of 3, and I'm sure you are currently joining us for this show, and I'm betting that you're going to have the best of it today. Thanks, man.
On track with your goals. I promise you'll get your victory. Not in the end, but within your reach. Keep listening to your inner voice and doing what it asks of you.
Now, it's important to say this to you. If your hustle, if whatever you're doing to generate income today stops because you went probably to sleep, you got sick, or you traveled out of town, then listen to this, my friend. You are not doing a business. What you have is a job.
Sometimes I start to find you, one old chance to feel your soul.
And this is very straightforward, very, very straightforward. That's over 70% of small businesses fail, not because they lack capital to actually run the business. What they lack is simply structure. And it beats my heart and my soul to know that many Nigerians are always busy on a daily basis. But you know the worst part of it? Most people keep being broke.
But within your reach, keep listening to your inner voice.
Now you go to the streets, we know that good number of people are busy hustling every day. It's very common. But you know the problem there too? Building systems is what is rare amongst these people. And here's the reality that most people are not entrepreneurs yet. They are actually self-employed hustlers. Yes. What they do is they set up a business. They are the same people selling. They're the same people delivering the products to customers. The same set of people chasing same customers and then solving virtually every problem that comes before them. That is not business. That is not entrepreneurship. That is hustle. And guess what? You have a job right there. And that's what we're going to be talking about on a very important topic today. How to turn a small hustle or business, whatever you want to call it, how to turn a small hustle that you have today into a structured and scalable business. Now, it's a hustle because, like I said earlier, most business owners, the moment you travel out of town, that business is shut down. The moment I remember, I told a story about my late auntie. My mother's elder sister, she had a very big shop in her village, and virtually everybody buys from her. But you know one funny part of it? Whenever Mama wants to go and eat, wants to take a shower or go to toilet or go travel out of town, that shop is shut down. So the villagers would have to go extra miles to other towns to be able to purchase things. That is a hustle that is more like employment, a job to Mama at the time. She wasn't running a business. And that is the problem most businesses today have. And this is why today we're actually going to be correcting that. We're going to be telling you things that would help you to move from the current job you own that you always call a business to a state where even in your absence, your business can run. Have you noticed that most business owners or most wealthy people or rich people, as we would want to place them, the moment they're out of life, the family suffer. It is not because they had a bad plan. It is simply because they were basically the center of that business while alive. And the worst part of it is the fact that most of these people pass out because of stress. That is what we're trying to correct today. It doesn't matter the kind of job you're doing. If you own a business or you're calling a business and it's giving you income today, look, the wisest thing you should be able to do is to structure the business and get it to become scalable. Now, here's my promise that by the end of this very show today, you will clearly understand why your hustle is stuck, why you're where you are today, and what to fix first, and how to grow without burning out or starting from zero again. Now, here's a very short story I want to tell us. A few years ago, say maybe in 2012, I used to have some dealings with Globacom, MTN at the time. And anytime I drive there, there's a particular young guy that I see, and he's always very exciting to interact with. We exchanged numbers. Just about a year ago or two, I drove back to that place and I still met him. Now, coming to where I live in town, there's also a particular young man that I used to see sell recharge cards. In fact, I used to buy recharge cards from him, and I interacted with him so much at that time. We became close. And for some months, I didn't see him again. Or rather, for some years, I didn't see him again, probably because I moved out of that location. And just a few months ago, I was going to buy charger for my wife, and I decided to just hop into a shop close by. And then when I was going in, I saw him also walking in. I was like, where have you been? He said, oh God, we've been hustling. We're here. I got into the shop, he got into, and then paved a way for himself to actually go behind the sellers. And I was like, what are you doing? He said, okay, this is my shop. Now, the worth of that shop, if not more, should be about 30 million naira. That guy started hustling. And today, he's got a shop. And you know the sweetest part of it? He doesn't stay in that shop. I asked him how do you manage these things? And he said he's got about 3 or 4 outlets out there, and that he's just coming from one. He just goes around every day to check on them, and he gets his business running. I'm like, wow, a smart guy, not even a graduate, has got the skill. Now, a good number of people that are not even graduates are extremely rich today because they found this idea very, very important for business. And they have been able to move from where they are, from the daily kobo they receive from their business, to becoming great conglomerates for the country, for their environments. This is the idea. You should, at the end of this very show or episode today, be able to know what to fix first in your business currently, or if you are even aspiring to start one, what to fix first, and then failing and starting from zero. Keep listening.
In a vast world.
It's Till the Morning Talk Show with Tim Abel on Forces Radio 107.7, and we come here every Wednesdays. But of course, today's going to be the last for the year until January. We come here every Wednesdays from 3:05 through to 4 p.m., where we come to teach you how to build, market, and sell your business, no matter how small it is, no matter how low it is. But this is the show that teaches you how to actually turn your ideas into income generating assets. So I want you to stick with us today because we're going to be discussing a very important topic, and I just mentioned it: how to turn a small hustle into a structured and scalable business. Now, last week we discussed another very vital topic. I want to just remind you about the topic. Last week we talked about how to actually spot untapped opportunities in the Nigeria's economy. 5 ways to be able to do that. And one of the ways is to be able to identify demand gaps in your environment or wherever you find yourself. Those are untapped opportunities that you can actually walk into and start making money. Number 2, we talked about broken systems. And when I talk about this broken system, it reminds me of my conversation with my friend yesterday or 2 days ago, where I wanted to register a company, an energy manufacturing company for him. So I was able to successfully register this company online. But then, when the certificate came, as well as the memorandum and article of association came, we discovered the TIN number from FIRS was not captured on the certificate. We also discovered that the signature of the shareholders was also not captured on the MEMAT. And we began to pursue them. Now, registering took less than 2 weeks to get the certificates. But listen to me, it's almost a month now since I've been writing to CAC to please update the certificate as well as the MEMAT. And up till this moment, it hasn't been updated. I went there and I still had a problem getting in, but then I was advised to see an agent, and the agent has kept me in the loop for more than 2 weeks today. We've been begging, we've promised all the amounts of money we can pay just to get this. That is a broken system. So if you're smart enough, this is an area you should go and learn fast and pick up as an income stream for yourself. Start helping people register and finding ways to ensure that their certificates come out in the proper manners, and then you'll be making money. That's number 2. The number 3, or the third way to actually spot untapped opportunities is also by looking at rising trends. We won't dwell so much in this, but I'm just trying to remind you, it's true rising trends. The fourth is also the spending habits of people around you or in your community or your environment where you are. I talked about a girl who lost her job, and she knew that her colleagues would always go distances just just to buy meals for lunch. So she decided to take up that opportunity, and today she flies around Nigeria helping parties to make foods and all of that. That's an untapped opportunity that she decided to fix herself up with, because she understood the spending habits of people around her office at the time. Now, the fifth one is personal frustrations. What particularly are you frustrated about? I just complained about the CAC side issue. That's my own personal frustration. It then means that hundreds or thousands of people are going through the same problem. What if you are the one having this challenge? What if you decided to take up this very challenge as a way to generate income for yourself? Those were the things we discussed last week. And every week here, I don't just go in without giving you what I call the pulse, the weekly pulse. I do this just to keep reminding you that on a very stable platform, you should always be reminded that you have responsibilities and there are problems, but there are also solutions to every problem. And this is why I bring the weekly pulse. But this is another sweet part of it. The fact that on a daily basis, whatever I've discussed here, we drop at least 10 written contents to buttress our points on a daily basis on our social media handles. So you can always check our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever. It's at Team Abel X. Just type at Team Abel X and you will find our pages where we drop all this info to buttress our points that we have spent at least 1 hour on the show to explain to you. Now you can go there and take advantage and ensure you continue to enjoy it. Now here's the pause. I spoke with 3 different people and I call them hustlers. One of them sells food and could not explain her profits. The second one runs a logistic company and practically receives her calls from every client. And then the third one has a lot of customers, but there is no record to show for it that she has customers. Now, these are 3 different hustlers, but with one same problem. And the problem is a structural problem. These guys lack what we call system in business. They lack what we call a structure in business. That is your weekly pulse. Now, in case you're joining us for the first time, it's still the Morning Talk Show with Team Abel on Armed Forces Radio 107.7. And today we're talking about how to turn small hustle into a structured and scalable business. Keep listening.
Sometimes life can be so scary. It lets you down and makes people want to laugh at you. But don't you?
So as usual, we won't waste your time today. I hope you have your pen and paper with you, because we're going to be drawing out every information you need to be able to move forward as far as this very topic is concerned. And like I said, it's simply how to actually turn your small hustle into a structured and scalable business, no matter what you're doing. But you see, there is a lot of advantage in ensuring you scale your business. But also, before you scale your business, you must be able to put a system in place. And we are going to be talking about the 5 ways to actually be able to structure your business. But again, we need to understand the difference between a hustle and a business. Now, it's very simple. Hustle actually depends on your efforts, your individual effort. And that is why when you crash today, your business is gone. That is why when you travel out of town, your business halts. Money no longer comes. That is why when you die, your family suffers because there is no structure, there is no system. Great, I can actually make reference to AIT today, Ray Power, to be precise. The owner died about 2 or 3 years ago, thereabout, and behold, the business is still running. You know why? He was at some point no longer involved in the day-to-day running of the business. That's a proper system. Now we have banks, we have corporate organizations that have this very system. They knew those things from the onset and decided to put it up, and they're enjoying it. I tell this very short story that when I also left the banking system, I actually had it on my mind to come that way, which of course I tried to do, but somehow I had a failure when it comes to emotional hiring. And then it all turned back to become a problem I was facing today. Now go to my pages and you find out that none of those things I write have been posted by me. Somebody else is handling it. And that has reduced the kind of stress I would ordinarily have been able to go through or ordinarily go through if I was handling that. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be able to match it. Now, this is exactly what we're trying to help you solve. So it's simple that a hustle is actually one that depends on your day-to-day effort, whether you're alive, whether you're in town, whether you're sick, strong, or sleeping. That's what a hustle requires. It requires that you jettison all of those things and make sure you face the business. But a business, a proper business, doesn't depend on that. It simply depends on systems. And if you're starting out newly, please begin to think in this direction. Now, if you stop working and money stops flowing, it means you have no business. What you have is a hustle. So these are the 5 ways to help structure your hustle and then make it scalable so that growth can persistently begin to come. Number 1 is to be able to clarify what you sell. And by clarifying what you sell, it means you have to stop doing everything in your business. How do you clarify that? You need to define your core products, the products you sell. You need to define it. You need to also be able to know who your ideal customers are. You need to have a clear value proposition for your products and services. That is number 1. And number 2 is to separate your money from yourself. A good number of us start our business and it's the same account where we receive payments for sales of our products that we spend as well. Not just spend, we spend for other frivolous things, for things that don't matter or has no direct relationship with our business. So if you must leave the platform of being a hustler where everything depends on you to the platform of being a business that is scalable, structured, then you must open a separate account for your business. How do you go ahead to do that? Of course, we've talked about that. You could decide to register a business name. I know that the federal government recently opened the windows for people to register their businesses free of charge. I don't know if you took advantage, but if you haven't, please go and find out and probably take advantage if it's still open. But if it's not, you could go and just pay a token and get your business registered. But again, if you don't want to register a name, you can also open an account in your name with a separate bank where everything you do in that account is